Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Influencers Project. I'm your host, Craig Reynolds, and today I have with me Mr. Mike Mooney. Mike, how are you today?
I'm awesome, brother. I'm awesome. So good to see you. I wish we could be doing it in person, but hey, we'll do it by Zoom for right now. But it's great to see you, man.
I like a Zoom. There's something about this that makes things really fun, and it's easy to edit. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it's true. That's true, man. But still, this is great, man. And I love what you're doing with the project. It's so cool.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. For me, influencers for myself, have always been my friends or my family, my neighbors, these people that have put little tidbits of information into my life that have helped create who I am today. And when I look at influencers now, my first thought is social media, right? And the people that are selling things on social media, whether it's a lifestyle or a product or whatever the case may be, that's where people get influences now. But I wanted to look back at the people that really touched us, that really had that piece in our life that whether we realized it or not, they were there. It might not even be people, it might have been a situation or a thing. And I like that. I've always liked the documentaries, and I like the story behind the story, right?
Yeah.
And for you, you've got a fantastic story. So first and foremost, where did you grow up?
Fantastic's a relative term, man.
I think it's fantastic.
We'll see. I appreciate that. So I grew up on Long Island, New York, and was the son of a Long Island police officer. My mom was a Catholic school history teacher. Very, very humble and blue collar beginnings for sure.
Nice.
Only child as well. Only child.
Oh, yeah, I know that only child syndrome. I get it. My dad is an only child. I know it. And you came down south. You went to school at Elon University.
I did. I went down there to play baseball. In fact,
Gotcha.
That was sort of like my thing, man. I played drums and I played baseball, and I had an uncle who actually was a pitching coach for the Mets. Was on the Washington Senators back in the day. I mean, just a amazing influence on me as a baseball player. And as a left-handed pitcher, I had some big aspirations, and then went down to Elon to play baseball. But ultimately, like before we even got to play, I mean, I'm talking like August, blew my arm out my freshman year, and that was it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then fast forward out of Elon. When I met you, I was at Speed TV. I was hosting a show on Speed TV. You were at Roush Fenway Racing, or it may have just been Roush then, I think.
It was actually, I think it was a little before that. I was probably on the agency side back then, representing different brands and sponsors, because we were trying to get our people on your show. So I was the guy calling you, like, hey, Greg, would you interview, this driver? Would you, So very much those hustling days of trying to get exposure time and the media value for our clients. But so that's where you and I met early on, when you were that fresh face on air with that smile, that charm and personality lighting up the camera.
Right. Well, you had a very successful career there. You transitioned and working into motorsports and with the teams. And then you decided one day, I'm done with this. I need to get out of here and go do my own thing. What was the trigger, the inspiration for that? Because that's a big jump. You could have stayed where you were and had a nice cushy job for the rest of your life. But I think there's a lot of people are afraid to make that jump, even if they're doing something that they don't love, but they're still like, I need to stay here. I don't know. It's hard to subscribe to that, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, it is,
even though I understand it, right?
Yeah, no, it's true, because I think we all get these places in our lives where, we get comfortable, and there's nothing wrong with that. Listen, I want to be really clear. There's nothing wrong if you're in a comfortable spot and it's providing for you, and comfortable doesn't mean that you're not challenged. It doesn't mean that you're not enthusiastic. It doesn't mean that you're not passionate and excited. So I want to be really clear. I think a lot of times people, when they say, oh, you're getting comfortable, it's this negative thing. I think when you get to a place, quite honestly, and this is my opinion, when you're what I call sleepwalking, where you can do the job with your eyes closed and you're just going through the motions. Like, to me, that's the time when you're at that crossroads where you're either going to continue to do that for the rest of your career or life or whatever that time period is, or you make the choice to do something different. And to your earlier point, man, look, I'm grateful. I'm extremely grateful. I've had an amazing career in a high profile, high pressure, high performing industry. And I over 25 years got to work with just some amazing people, you included, just folks
Thank
that
you.
still are involved in my life. Um, and and the question of like, what was that moment, I decided to make that jump. I'll tell you honestly, man, that that was a seed planted in me, right? That was something planted in me in July 8th, 2006 is
Wow,
when
you knew it.
that seed was. Oh yeah, man. No, and it was one of those moments where I didn't know what it was going to be, when it was going to happen, but the seed was planted, and I knew I had to be faithful and diligent in just making daily steps. So it wasn't until, that was 2006. It wasn't until, really the fall of 2017 when I
Wow.
really was at that place of going, okay, you know the time isn't always right, but I felt at that point I had the experience, the relationships, um the perceived authority to go out with a voice. I found my voice. I
Hmm.
knew the message I wanted to deliver around the power and value of proactively building and managing our reputations, are one of our greatest assets we have in this hyper connected world. And I had done the work. That's the key thing. I think if people are going to sit there and say, "Oh, was that one moment I decided to jump and go?" I think it's foolish. I think it's kind of
Right.
reckless. And I had, look, I my wife Krista is my best friend and partner in crime, and the person I'm doing life with. And we've been together nearly 30 years, and we have 3 children. They were, 2 of which are getting ready for college at the time. One is still in high school, and so this wasn't something that I could just, jump and go.
Right. Oh, it's easy to do it when you're single and you're by yourself, but once you've got
Man,
responsibilities, you've got to think about everything. Right. I get that.
absolutely,
Yeah.
man. You're planning and you're planning and planning. And the interesting thing, brother, is that I made my plan. Like as I was getting ready to transition out, I had lined up 6 people, right? Because I said, okay, I'm going to be going out on my own to build a speaking, coaching, and consulting practice. And
Hmm.
I want to diversify that. I have to diversify. But the mainstay has got to be consulting so I can kind of keep the cash flow going. And that was a funny term because cash flow to me, I didn't know what the hell that meant because I was suckling on the teat of the biweekly steady for
Right.
25 years. It
Hmm.
just shows up, right? It just shows up. So I said, okay, I've got to line some things up, and I had 6 people that I knew that I had called friends, and I said, man, as soon as you make that pivot, we're there. We'll bring you on to do some project work. We'll get you, we'll help you get going. I'm like, man, I'm in. That's great. Well, Craig, I jump out the plane, pull the ripcord, look around. How many of those do you think actually came to life?
2.
Oh, man, you are the optimist, brother. It was a round number. It was a round number.
Got it.
0.
Right. Yeah.
All of them, man. And that's when shit got real. When it was like, oh my gosh, I'm out here now and I got to make some things happen,
Hmm.
and I really believe, and I'm grateful for that. I am thankful. I'm glad that it was over 6. I really am,
Right.
because you know what that did? That forced me to go to a place that I didn't know I had within me. That forced me to look at things and look at what I was going to do in such an intense, focused way that I never knew I had about me, quite honestly. It showed me something and ignited something in me that was purely a catalyst that now, 2.5 years later, I'm still growing and going and learning and building not only the business, the practice, the message, but also the momentum. We were talking about that earlier, the power of
Yeah.
momentum. Put the ball in play, like what you're doing right now, man, with this project and this platform. Put the ball in play. And that was something that really, to me, was a difference between there's like, um, faith by sight, and then there's blind faith. And I felt like
Right.
me jumping out and making that pivot having that runway, right? Those 6 people lined up was that sort of faith by sight. Yes, I'll pursue this. Yes, I will take the seed that was planted in 2006 and now bring it to bear. But I'm doing it because I see that I've got some stability and I've got runway.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And when that all went away, I had a choice, man, right? We all had a choice. I could have gone back to Roush. I could have gone back and gotten a job in the industry.
Right.
But I said, no, I can't. I can't do that. I've got to push it through. And the most amazing things started to happen, as a result of that. And the people that were coming into my life and the circles and you and I reconnecting. I mean, that was another beautiful gift
awesome.
through all of this, right? You know what I mean? So I just wanted to be like clear, like there wasn't that moment where it was like, oh, the light. It was something, it was planted in me, and I did the work. I did the work from 2007. I'm sorry, 2006 to 2017. I did that work, and there's no shortcut for that, man. There's no shortcut.
Right. Well, that inspiration, what I'm hearing is that fear of, wow, I thought I had Cush Landing to go to, but I don't. So you really had to get creative and hustle and figure this out afterwards, right?
Yeah, I did, and I also learned that all I can really control were 3 things: my attitude, my decisions, and my behavior. I can't control the people around me. And the other message in that, Craig, is that there's power in today. What can I do today? When I went home and I told my wife that, hey, this deal didn't come in and that deal fell through and this deal came that, and and she's like, Mike, what are we going to do at this date when the money we put aside runs out?
Right.
And I looked at her and I gave her an answer that I'm sure no partner ever wants to hear. I said, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I'll get another job. I'll put an Uber placard up on the car. I don't know. But I said, baby, here's what I can tell you. If I'm focusing on this date way out here, I'm not focusing on today and what I have to do. And if I focus on today and do everything I can today, and then get up and do it again tomorrow, and then get up again and do it the day after that, then I truly believe that I'm going to start to see some daylight here, because that's truly all I can focus my energy and efforts and attention on. It's all I know to do. It's all I know to do. And I won't lie, man, there were some 48, 72 hour days that were going on. There were days when I wake up at 3 a.m. and I'm like, why is it 125 degrees in here? And I'm sweating like crazy,
Yeah.
But again, that's when, honestly, and it sounds really odd, but man, but you're alive. Mm-hmm. You're alive. You're building, you're creating. And I'm not suggesting that's for everyone to do, but I'm suggesting that, and I'm encouraging people just like yourself, that you aren't doing. You're not sleepwalking, man. You're not even reinventing. It's just, it's reconnecting with that authentic part of us that we often suppress down. I mean, there's a reason why we wake up with an idea or a thought in our head all the time. There's a reason for that. Stop pushing it down. Stop.
I've been saying for years, do what you love. Do what you love and the money will follow. Just sometimes it's hard to find what you love, right? And it's getting out of your own way, getting out of that comfort zone. And that's tough. Some people can do it. Some people can't. That's totally understandable. But clearly you're one that can.
Well, I'm trying, man. And I'm just showing up every day. I'm just showing up every single day. And I do. What you say resonates so well, that, find what it is that you love. But sometimes it finds you. And sometimes it's because you are putting yourself out there and you're having the courage to be vulnerable. You're having the courage to say, I could be hurt in this, whether that's your ego, your emotions, physically, mentally, whatever it may be, financially to some extent. Sometimes that's another impact and casualty of all this. But I'd also encourage people, and I know this is something that I did before I jumped out, was I looked at what I wanted to do, or what the vision was, in 3 buckets, and it was passion, skill, and marketplace. So think about those overlapping circles, the Venn diagram, right? Mm-hmm. Where they all overlap together is that authentic sweet spot for you, in responsible ways. Meaning that, for me in particular, going out and speaking and coaching and consulting around, brand development and personal brand development, standing out, standing up, building reputation, crisis management. Like that to me, I had a skill for. I have 25 years behind me of a skill to do that. I also have a passion for it as well. I truly am passionate about the idea of self-actualization, helping people and building, strong reputations and brands that blow open doors of opportunity. And then I also realized that there is a market where people would be willing to invest in themselves in that. So that's where I knew that I was going to be in a sweet spot, because, there are people I know in my life, and I'm sure you know in yours, that have a skill and there's a market, but they don't have the passion for it, or they have the passion and the skill, but there's no market, or a passion and a market and they stink at it, or they're trying to get better. So, to me, that was sort of like part of that process of getting ready to go, to make sure that I was being responsible, yet still being responsible to my family, but then also responsible to the gift and that seed that was planted, on that date.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people that would love to have you corporate speak or get some kind of training or some assistance.
I appreciate that.
How can people get a hold of you if they want to reach out to you?
So really simple. I'll give you a couple easy ways, and you'll see the brand guy come out, because I like to make it like really straightforward. You can email me, Mike at Mike Mooney, MOONEY.com, Mike at MikeMooney.com. You can go to my website, MikeMooney.com. You can get a copy of my book there, Reputation Shift. You can get that at Amazon. You can get it at my site. Get it from my site. I'll sign a copy and send it to you. Please hit me on LinkedIn as well. I'd love to connect there. Instagram is at Mike_Mooney also. So you can just look up Mike Mooney and you'll find it. But I'd love to connect with folks. If there's a way I can help them. And Craig, man, I just, love spending this time with you. And again, I love what you're doing with this project, man. I really do. So I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Well, I appreciate the nudge that we had, or that you gave me. We were at Starbucks that one day. And
so can I just tell like the backstory on that real quick? And you may edit this out. I don't know. But literally, I was in Starbucks meeting with a friend of mine. And this guy walked by with a hoodie, and I just caught like just that millisecond of a glimpse. And I hadn't seen you, Craig, in probably 10 years. I mean, it had been a while.
And the funny thing is, we live down the street from each other, basically.
Exactly.
Starbucks is right in between the two of us.
It's right in the middle.
Yes.
And just that millisecond glimpse of the side of his face, it wasn't even the whole face. I stopped and I'm like, I think that's Craig. And I said to my friend, forgive me, just give me 1 second. This is a buddy of mine I haven't seen in years. Give me a second. Yes. I ran out the door and I yelled over to you. I'm like, Craig, just to see if it was. And sure enough, you turned around and there you are. So, man, the universe is wonderful, man. It's kind of brought us together.
I will agree with you 100%. And I'm unbelievably grateful that you ran out of there and took time from your meeting. And that was awesome. That was awesome.
It's so good, dude.
Thank you for your time today, Mike. I really appreciate it. I know you've got a lot of big things that you're working on right now. Again, people, if you need to reach out to Mike, please do so via his email or Instagram, LinkedIn. He's always available. And if you like what you're seeing, please make sure you subscribe to the show. Mike, again, thank you so much for everything. And we'll see you soon.
Thanks, brother.